All right, thank you. There's been different ones, but I could share the most recent one, which was around last year. There was this conference that happens in my industry, it's like the biggest event. And as someone in Ilorin, it's not the most convenient thing traveling to Lagos all the time for such event. But for some reason, it wasn't even a good time for me. I didn't have a lot of resources. For some reason, I just felt like I really had to be at that event. And I left my dear wife and I traveled. In the event, yeah, that had about 6,000 people in attendance, about 400 businesses. I only met three people there, and one of them right now has become our biggest paying client, and it's an international project. And in terms of scale, it's been the biggest we've done so far. And also, it has shifted my mind as to what's possible. Now I can brag about the fact that we have an international client, a brand, making millions of dollars annually. So that's one of the moments that I can share. I can say that was the leading of God, because left to me, I didn't want to step out. It wasn't convenient. I had to just spend a lot of money.
Okay, so from this, I picked from what you just shared was, following the leading of God. Because if you had stayed back, when God led you to go for the events, and if you didn't go, you would probably have not met the international clients. So I think for me as well, I think paying attention to, not I think, I know that paying attention to the leading of God concerning your life or concerning your business would literally open massive doors for you. So for everybody out there, if you have anything that God is telling you to do, God is leading you into something, God is leading you to take, talk to that person beside you. Maybe God is telling you to talk to that sister or talk to that brother. I think you should do that. Okay, so while we wait for the power to be restored, I'm going to ask, can you all hear me, please? Amazing, thank you. I'm going to ask Mr. Maxwell the same question. What can you share an experience where you just knew that this was a new level for you, and what was the positioning? Where how did you position yourself for that new level?
Okay. Thank you. Can you hear me, please? Okay. Thank you so much, and thank you, Isaac, for the invitation. God will continue to strengthen you. Back to your question. For me, you know, the spirit of discernment is very, very key as young believers and as someone that actually wanted something more for him or herself. So for me, I think there are always this season for me that I know that, okay, this is the next thing for me to do. For example, before Kairos came, okay, before Kairos came into existence, I was working at the National Assembly. So I knew that in Abuja, so I knew that I needed to go. That wasn't a place for me to be, because if I should I continue?
Yes, please, cousin.
Okay, that if I should stay in that environment, obviously it's National Assembly. Okay, obviously it's National Assembly. You get to meet people. I provide individuals. However, for someone like me, I'm very ambitious. I knew that that wasn't a place that I needed to live. And like I said, spirit of discernment. What's next after leaving such an avenue, a platform? Because I work with politicians and all those things, but I know that I needed to start alone and have my financial independence. Because one thing I try to tell every young people is you need that financial independence to be an authority in any industry, in anything God has called you to be. So that was a moment for me, and I had to make some personal sacrifice, commitment, and when God is leading that, okay, this is what I want you to do at this point in time. And from there, Kairos came. Then I knew that, okay, this is where God wanted me to do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So for somebody that is coming from Abuja, because I've been to Abuja and I know how high life it is, like the whole thing. Coming from Abuja into Ilorin, was there any fear that you could build a business? Was there any fear that your business was going to survive or thrive?
There was no fear, to be honest. There is nothing, because anything I lay my hands on succeeds. Nothing dies in my own hands. So that perspective, that understanding already give me that there is clarity. When there is clarity of purpose and what you are meant to do, making decision becomes easier. So except you don't have clarity. So when there is clarity, decision making, nothing scares me as long as I know I am sent to do this. So because he who has sent you has equipped you for it and have made provisions available. So for me, difficulties will come. That doesn't mean challenges don't come. In fact, in businesses, we feel like, oh, God, I beg. But I know there's a bigger picture. And why Kwara? Why not that place? So this is my own state. And for someone like us, we don't, my own understanding, I love growth. I believe in, I'm not an instant gratification person. I don't believe in starting big. If God has given you resources, maybe your own might be different from mine. You might start big, but I believe in growth. It's a process. Make a name for yourself. I'm well known here. My capacity is here. So I know people here. I know the people in government. If there is any issue, I know where to go to. And this is my state. I need to build something from here first. Start local, then move global. From there, you can easily expand.
Please let's start for our speakers, please. Okay, there's something I really picked from Mr. Maxwell. He said something that nothing dies in my hands. And I think it's a consciousness thing where when you are conscious about the promises of God in your life, it's fear has no place. So if you are scared of starting out, if you are scared of as a student, you're like, how do you want to combine this idea that God has given to you with your academics? I want you to know that nothing can die in your hands. So I'm going to ask Mr. Yemi the same question because I've been privileged to work with you. So I am I know like a bit of your story. So I'm going to ask you the same thing. Moving from Lagos, the commercial states where everything is happening. I mean, people actually moving from Kwara back to Lagos, but you moved from Lagos to Kwara State, to Ilorin to start a business. How was that like for you? Or how is it like for you now?
First, it wasn't a deliberate decision. It's not like I decided or desired to be in a learning for business. At the time, I saw a business opportunity, which was that I wanted to start a tech training academy. So, and in my mind, I was already calculating the millions that I could make annually from it. I'm like, with my skills, I'm going to dominate. I'll take over everywhere. And I think in less than a month from there, I've already moved to learning. And it wasn't as I expected at all. I hosted the first training. Nobody registered. I had to just give people free slots, and then we did that. I hosted the second training, barely any registration. The third one, we did a bit well. Eventually, I came to the realization that God might have used that as a tool to bring me down to Ilorin. Maybe I have something, not maybe, I know I have something here to do, but it wasn't a deliberate decision. But in the process of it, I could just see that, okay, this is where God would have me. And so I asked the question, what can I start doing from here? How can I build? I built most of my career in Lagos, and it's just a matter of I won't have that physical privilege of being able to meet with clients and all. So we have to go hard on digital. And so far, it hasn't been the easiest in the sense that our work, what I do is mostly if you want to meet high profile people, you meet them at events, you have to be going out, but I don't have that privilege here. And so we're just having to invest more in building our brand online so that we can attract those people.
All right, please can we give our speakers a round of applause? So I have a few more questions and we'll round this session up. The second question I have here is young people often feel like they are too early in life to think about wealth and stewardship. What would you say to a 22-year-old who feels like, let me think about wealth later, let me think about making money later?
Is there really anyone like that here? Anyways, in case you are, because it's real, you might think I'm still in 400 level, I'm 22, I have time. You need to realize that the time factor in this generation has been crushed. If you needed to be 30, 40 to do something in our parents' generation, right now that has come down to like 30. So what you consider early might actually be late. We have 15-year-olds that are raising thousands of dollars in funding. And so that's all I'm going to tell you is step out of your head, look at the globe as standard. One of the speakers said this earlier, benchmark whatever you're doing with the global standard. If you think, oh, I'm doing great in Nigeria, think about the world and you'll see that maybe you have a long way to go.
All right, thank you. I'm going to ask you the same question, sir. Like, what are you going to say to young people that feel like it's too early for them to start thinking about making wealth?
For me, I genuinely feel Uh, when it comes to wealth, it's a personal decision. Maybe you are from a Nepo baby family and all, so there is wealth at home that you can always rely on. However, if you genuinely want wealth, I don't think maybe it's your environment or the people you talk to makes you believe that okay, you are too young to start building wealth. So the first thing is to look for people. If genuinely you are convinced that okay, I need to start building wealth, then you need to, I'm not saying to change your friends, but the kind of conversation you have with them have to be different. You need to look for someone higher. For me, I try to speak with people that are above me, doing better than I do. That doesn't mean I still don't have friends. I have people that I talk to, oh, how are you, blah, blah. But when it comes to real conversations, because there are some people, for example, let me give a practical example. There is someone I was trying to talk to someone introduced me to that person about real estate and all. It was like, oh, Maxwell, where are you? I said, oh, I was in Abuja then. I traveled during Christmas and all. So it was like, oh, are you in Abuja? He said, yes. Okay, where do you? I mentioned the place. He said, okay, that makes sense. Let's see. And the kind of conversation they're having there is about hundreds of millions investment. But when they come to Ilorin, they will be telling you 5 million, 10 million kind of investment. What happened is the environment, is the perspective, the kind of conversation people have in Ilorin. Big people talks about big numbers, but they are not common. But in Abuja, the conversation is quite different. That's where you hear big numbers. You'll be like, I'm not doing anything with my life. So my point to drive that back is that you need to change the kind of conversation you have, the people you talk to. Most importantly, for me, I think mentorship is very, very important. So you look for someone, and it's not necessarily you have access to those people. Because a lot of people come to you, oh, I want you to be my mentor. Okay, how do I mentor you? Like, you should be the one to ask questions. They have materials online. Like FD, for me, Feladro Toye has been my long-term mentor. They have Bishop Oyedepo. I might not have access to these people, but they have materials that I consume. So it's not necessarily that you have access to those people you claim to be your mentor. Go and consume what they've done, and that will continue to help you as well. And mentorship, very, very key. That has helped me. It's still helping me, and I think it will help you too.
Please let's celebrate our speakers. Awesome answers, actually. So I think one person, I think this answers has answered somebody's question. And she came to me saying that she had a question saying that how can she build her mindset? She had a friend that that had a rich uncle, but that wasn't doing well, and how can that person build that mindset? So I think this question answers it. Surrounding yourself with people that are going where you are going to. So this is your sign to sign up for the Millionaire Mindset Club, because it's a community of people that want to build wealth. It's a community of people that want to be millionaires. So this is your sign to sign up for that. Okay, so I have like two more questions and we'll be done with this session. And it's a question from the audience, actually. So the person said, as an introvert, how can I position myself for wealth creation, especially with the fact that you need strong networking skills. Part of making wealth is that you have strong networking skills. So with the fact that I have no strong networking skills as an introvert, how can I position myself for wealth creation?
Okay. First of all, I would ask you to actually question whether you're an introvert. I personally don't believe that anyone is an introvert. And if you want to argue, I'll ask you how you were like as a child. If you can think about what you were like at 5, at 12. If you really were an introvert, then maybe you are. But if you were not an introvert, then you cannot have changed. That's the first thing. And as to how you can build your influence as an introvert, I would say the world has made it easy. We have people who are doing things that don't require showing their face. So you just need to pick your battle, decide on the field you want to go into, preferably something that will not be so much client facing. And if you do decide on that, also realize that you might just have to work a lot more harder than the average person, because the benefit they have of having interaction or needing to show your face is something. So you don't have that. It means you might need to do a bit more to get the kind of result we do. But I tell you for a fact, the world has changed. You don't need to show your face. There are YouTubers who are making thousands of dollars online with just parts. They're not showing your face. They're not doing anything. So just sit down and think about what we want.
All right, thank you so much.
I want to ask you this question. It's a different question because you said something along those lines. So everybody has heard everything, and what is the structure for them to build that mindset where they can create wealth? So you can share your experience, how you got to the point where you started thinking outside of the box, started thinking outside of thousands to millions of naira and hundreds of millions.
Thank you. I think one thing we all should understand that wealth creation is domain specific. So you must find your field. You can't do everything. Because a lot of people are talking about real estate, doesn't mean you should start a real estate company. Your own, maybe where God has called you, this is a two-step platform. Maybe where God has called you to is what's it called? Maybe media. It might be something else entirely. So you must find your own domain. Where am I the at? Do I need to improve on these things? Or do I need more skills? Do I need to learn more in this particular area? So because everybody is doing certain things doesn't mean it's the best. Like if someone like me to actually his response to the question you asked him, I genuinely don't like my best out there. So what do I have to do? Look for people that can get the job done for me. So because me, I love look like just unfortunately the kind of business we do still have to be out there. But certain list, if you go to our company's page, maybe you find one of my video too. Then I actually not because I don't want to, but I know my other aspect of work. I love being reserved. I love being quiet. I don't doesn't get my own done. It's my own calling to be in business to impact beyond this making money. It's good to make money, but to make an impact, to be a solution provider and not part of the problem to the solve. I think that's one of the greatest things that's helped me. Once you have that mindset that okay, I want to be a solution provider. For example, this place is kind of dirty now. A lot of people, you understand? Like, for someone that's solution oriented, I think what you should do is find a way how this place is being clean. When I met them in 2017, we're in Lagos, we having one event. So everybody were rushing to take picture with Pelan one day and so I was behind roll over that to hold it for everybody so that I can take pictures with it. So he now went back. I said, Maxwell, you don't want to take picture? I said, no, people need to pick. He said, no, drop it for you, guys should Martin come, it's your turn. So it's when you're solution oriented, there are things that just come to your way easy. And when you're solving problems, problem solving brings money, brings you wealth to you. I think as anybody, as a business owner, once you have that understanding, man, why am I into this business to solve a problem? Not really about profits. I think that's why you make money. I think you do well. And wealth will come to you easily. That's one of the things this man traditional. You always say Africa is the best place to invest. At this point in time, we are sensitive enough, look for the problems, Africa, and that's why abroad you see them sitting down, they are they can tell you the next 10 years, this is the actual amount of revenue in their account. Why? Because this structure. But in Africa, you can go up and get 1 billion naira contract. In abroad, I don't think that's possible because it is well structured. There's certainly metrics you can't get more than. But in Africa, you can get 10, 20 contracts at the same time, different kind of jobs, different opportunities. So once you find those who are to be a solution provider and you pray to God, I believe God